Murder Mystery, by far the most popular Roblox murder game. It's so simple, in fact. Every single party game has a mode of this. Minecraft, the Gmod, Fortnite, it has hundreds of thousands of players every weekend, but it can get repetitive. But Blood Debt, well, it does things differently. It's far from repetitive. But before we compare the two, let's just quickly go over how both games work on a surface level. Roblox Murder Mystery is very simple. You have one murderer with a knife, whose objective is to kill everyone. You have one sheriff with a gun, whose objective is to kill the murderer and save all the rest of the people, which are the innocents. Now, Blood Debt on a surface level is pretty much the same thing, but when you dive just a bit deeper, you realize the mechanics are way different. So, in Blood Debt, you have Bystander, which instead of just doing absolutely nothing like in Murder Mystery 2, you mainly do tasks like Among Us. But the catch is you can also pick up weapons like knives and pipes and defend yourself. Now, the Sheriff Vigilante is the same as Murder Mystery 2. You spawn with a handgun and you need to figure out who the murderer is. And then there's the killer who randomly spawns in either with a handgun or a shotgun or a rifle. And your objective as the killer is to kill your target. Instead of trying to kill everyone, even though that is an option, you do get hints in who to kill, and the strategy is to isolate everyone else between you and your target. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I love how you need to use positioning and isolation to your advantage. Since Murder Mystery 2, the gun and knife are a one-shot kill, you just have to avoid any kind of human interaction and just be in open areas and wait around as an innocent. And that's what makes it boring. But in Blood Debt, you can survive a hit. You'll get damaged and start bleeding, you'll get knocked down. You can also get knocked out by a shot in the leg or somewhere non-lethal, and it creates this tension and this action. And the guns sound so damn heavy and realistic, you know. One of my friends said it's like a live leak simulator, which I found out really funny. Now, as a bystander, you need to stand in these little red areas to make the timer go down. Once it goes down, you win and the killer loses. There's generators in the game, but to be honest, I don't really know what they do. And something that Blood Debt does better than Murder Mystery 2 is the interactive space. You can open and close doors, you can turn on switches. It makes you feel more connected into the space, which really helps with all the immersion. And speaking of immersion, you remember how the guns are heavy and loud? Yeah, let's talk about that. The guns reload slow. Every time you take out a mag, you stress if someone is gonna arrive before you're able to chamber around. The thrill of holding a weapon reflects real life. It gets your nerves going. It makes you shaky.
Nothing like the rush of hunting people down and killing them. I mean, my heart's beating, my hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting, and I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot.
There's two other modes in Blood Debt, which are a team deathmatch showdown, where two teams get spawned in either a big city or a small arena and shoot each other until one team is left standing. Honestly, this mode is good for practicing shooting the gun and getting a feel for how it feels before you become a killer. There's also a car, which your character shifts the gears of, which makes it extra realistic. But other than that, the mode is kinda filler. There's this other mode called Juggernaut mode, which is where you get spawned in an office, there's one killer, and all the rest of the players are bystanders. And there's a small timer of like 2 minutes. Once the timer ends, the players who are alive get a pistol to defend themselves, and the dead players become Polizia, aka police. And they storm the damn building in search of the killer. And the bystanders who are alive, I think they're supposed to kill the police as well. And the killer has to kill everyone, right, to win. But it's real difficult when you got like 10 police officers rushing with submachine guns and rifles into your room when you have either a gun or a rifle. Seeing the police feels like a sign of relief, but also a sign of threat. Honestly, this game works really well psychologically. It messes with your senses, and I really like that. The game is set in Eastern Europe. Pretty sure it's Russia, since, you know, the police is Polizia. You got Cyrillic names, and there's a map with Kushevka. aka Russian Soviet bloc. And we can further verify this with the classic garages found only in Russia and Ukraine, and just like some style choices. And the characters look Russian with the style of glasses and clothes and the names, of course. There's also a button to surrender, which in theory would make you think that it's helpful in this type of game, but in my experience, it makes you more of a target because you raise your arms as if it's like, oh, kill me, you know, I'm here. When I was the killer, I naturally took my first or second shot towards the surrender because of, you know, because they raise their hands and it makes you focus on them. Also, this game got banned, but then got back on the 5th April, and it is around time that we had a game that goes on the fence on the rules. I miss edgy stuff, you know. Back then, you know, there was like blood demos, and they were fun to play before they got banned, you know. But nowadays, people are just playing it safe. People are just really playing it safe. All the edgy YouTubers, all the Roblox games that got banned or abandoned quickly, not talking about condos, get your damn mind out of the gutter. So why am I making this whole video for? Except to, you know, compare Murder Mystery to Blood Dead. Well, Roblox is experiencing a big drought in good content, and Blood Dead is a hope. I know there's more Roblox games like fighting, block tales, etc., but we really do need more games that experiment more and try to innovate and just see how much wiggle room they actually have, and not just make a stupid damn simulator. Blood Dead made me realize not always having a gun isn't a bad thing, because whenever you become the killer, it makes you feel unstoppable. In Murder Mystery 2, whenever you're the murderer, you may get one kill, but instantly the sheriff will probably trick shot you, or all the innocents will run away. But in Blood Dead, it feels like you can go on massacres, especially with the small map designs. And I especially love the Russian block map, because you can get into the apartment and just start shooting everybody from the window, and you just feel super overpowered. You know, maybe it's because like you know, as a child I used to live in that kind of building, so I'm like a pro. You know, I know how to shoot from the window. And you know, in Blood Day, it felt like you can just go on massacres, and it's this search of a thrill. The best way I can sum up and describe Blood Dead is it's a roller coaster with a big line for the thrill seekers. Waiting in line is getting bystander, and then when it's finally your turn and the hopping on the roller coaster is when you are the killer. And you know, you can't always be the killer, because then first off everybody would be the killer, right? So you know, that wouldn't make it like you wouldn't have so much power. And when it's not this frequent, the times when you do get the killer, that's when it's the most fun. You know, I would say in Murder Mystery it used to feel like that, but not anymore. So moral of the story is make good games.